Hey everyone, and welcome to my video about how my battles on Pass 4 went. In today's video, I'll introduce you to our allies and opponents in KvK, open Marauder rewards, talk about the Crystal Academy, and of course discuss how the battles on Pass 4 went, my March statistics, and how much resources and speed-ups it cost me. Also about that insane Zenith. And finally, I'll show you the altar battles. It was truly thrilling. The video turned out packed, and I think interesting, so settle in comfortably. I have a lot to tell you. This is my first video in this format, so I think it's right to tell you a bit about the kingdom I'm currently in. I play in 2267, and it's quite a small kingdom with about 60 active players, but they're strong and absolutely crazy. Formally, this is my first KvK in 2267, but I've played with them before as allies, and there are many players here from my old kingdom 2987, where I spent over 2 years and have many good stories with them, so I wouldn't say I feel like a newcomer here. Both 2267, and I finished our last KvK back in midsummer, so everyone had time to miss the hot battles and was eagerly awaiting KvK after a series of vacations and an insane marathon of barbarian forts. We chose Tides of War. If I haven't lost count, this is already my 4th time in this format. Yes, I'm a bit tired of it, but I still consider it one of the best for intense battles. But before we continue, I'd like to ask you to please like and subscribe to the channel. This helps me promote my content. Now let's finally talk about who we're playing with this KvK. There are 4 camps total, and if you look at the sum of kill points of the camps, everything looks quite balanced, which matchmaking can't always boast. Our allies will be the Earth camp, and our opponents will be Fire and Water. Personally, I don't really know anyone here except 1368. They have a strong League of Osiris team that I've encountered before, and last season they made it to the quarterfinals, and overall they have many crazy accounts. Our allies from 35 to 26 also look more than worthy and have strong fighters. As for the rest, we'll soon test their strength on the battlefield. End of the first stage, Pre-KvK, Marauders. I wanted to get as many speed-ups as possible before KvK, and Marauders are one of the best ways to use action points productively. So I tried to make a good result. As for kingdoms, as usual, young kingdoms pull ahead while older ones lag a bit. I managed to collect 271 Marauder chests, from which I got 40 days of speed-ups, 7,950 gems, and 5 legendary materials. I think that's not bad for 120,000 action points, especially considering the rewards for killing Marauders, which I didn't count. But from experience, I can say there should have been about 30 more days of various speed-ups. By the end of Pre-KvK, we took 10th place, which of course isn't great. But we didn't set a goal to win there, since Zenith was coming soon, and many were saving speed-ups. Then we got onto the map, and our KvK officially began. The next 8 days we had to level up the Crystal Academy, build bastions, and do barbarian chains. When I talk about chains, I immediately remember Novocaine. He's really good at this, and if you're watching this, Novocaine, I send you greetings. As for the Crystal Academy, I don't want to talk much about it in this video, except to show what I managed to level up by Pass 4, buying only pop-ups and the Crystal Quest. At this point, I've spent 40 million crystals. My main goal was the healing discount. The rest didn't concern me much. After all, resources determine how long we can fight and stay in action. In the future, I want to record a detailed guide on the new Crystal Academy, but for now I can only show it like this. This is what my 5 marches look like. I decided to let the legendary pair Nevsky and Joan play a bit more. And 3 years ago this was my best pair, but now it's time for them to go. They'll be replaced by a new cavalryman, but that won't be in this KvK. As for this one, I might make Arthur, Philip, and Joan marches if I don't like Nevsky and Joan's statistics after Pass 4. Now let's move to the main part. We were all well charged for battle and focused on doing everything possible because a good performance in this KvK could bring us the long-awaited moon for 5 stars. A small digression. I didn't manage to record the start of the battle since initially I wasn't planning to record anything and only turned on screen recording 3 hours after the start. But to not miss this moment, I took fragments from Enzo's stream. He was piloting our Kraken Yakakan's account. So don't pay attention to the video quality. This is the pilot's style for performance. I'll leave a link to his channel in the comments. September 25th, 1457 UTC. Only seconds remain until the opening of the 4th pass. Support marches begin their attack, laying down buffs. And then, the pass is open. Without waiting for the rally, we strike. A swarm of rapid marches crashes into the gates. Tension rises, breath held, everyone ready to hit that random teleport. And then, the passage is open. Screens flash, lag spikes, voices shouting. It has begun. The map fills with flashes from our teleports. While the opponent is still just trying to capture their pass, losing precious time and giving us an advantage. While waiting for Alliance fortress construction, there were mostly small skirmishes. Our fortresses were in a very good position, placed to block the opponent from Tempest Sanctuary. The opponent took a more distant position, not risking losing a fortress. After the fortresses were built, the battle entered a new phase. Now it was a real confrontation. They broke through to our positions. We pushed them back and vice versa. The battle was evenly matched. You could feel the opponent's numerical advantage, but our quality neutralized it. Voice was filled with commands, coordination, screams. The screen constantly glowed with battle notifications. Neither side could gain a decisive advantage. Hours passed, and the battle outcome remained unclear. Both sides fought with incredible persistence, unwilling to yield a single flag. This was exactly what we all gathered here for. A real battle where victory had to be earned. The fight had been going for almost 4 hours, and the winner was unclear. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, our Earth camp allies were doing completely differently and were dominating their opponents, already burning their fortresses. The Fire camp offered extremely weak resistance, even though they were favorites, and everyone expected not just a good fight from them, but a confident victory. Four and a half hours after the battle began, the water camp noticeably started giving up. We began setting fire to their positions, and from that moment, the battle completely passed under our control. The game went by our rules. Trades confidently fell in our favor. The reports spoke for themselves. The enemy could only take hits from our rallies and try to maintain remnants of control over the battlefield. One after another, the water camp lost flags, and their defense cracked at the seams, and each new hour brought us more and more territory. We confidently advanced forward, clearing their fortifications and occupying key points. 6.5 hours after the battle started, the map looked as follows. They lost a significant number of their flags, and we were getting closer and closer to their fortresses. At this point, I left my kingdom's positions to move to where the opponent was still resisting and even trying to attack. In this sluggish, dragging state, the battle continued for another couple of hours until resistance completely disappeared. We can sum up the first day. Battles lasted almost 8.5 hours. The opponent no longer offered serious resistance, and we had already started burning their fortresses. Our Earth camp allies were still doing great and burned the Fire camp's fortresses. Let's now look at the numbers. Our two Krakens, Yakukan and Beef, showed simply insane results compared to the rest. Real machines, pure meat grinders. Browsing the rankings, you can most often notice fighters from the air and water camps, which is quite expected if you compare these two battles. I think many of you now have the impression that this is all over, and we won. And I thought so too, and went to bed. but the water camp had a different opinion. The second day began, and I'm not really expecting anything, but a notification sounds in Discord with the words, "Now or never." I log into the game and see a counter-offensive by the water camp. I don't know when exactly they started, but as of 12 UTC on the second day, the map looked as follows. The enemy didn't just return their positions, they were literally one step away from starting to burn our fortress. To say I was surprised is an understatement. After so many hours of complete control, we didn't expect such a turnaround. The game completely passed under their control, and we were forced into deep defense. Our flags burned one after another, and tension only grew. Personally, I had the feeling that our opponent's numbers had increased many times over. Most likely the opening time of Pass 4 wasn't the best time for them, and yesterday they got an early downtime, but now everything changed and they're dictating the game. We understood. If we don't hold the line now, it will only get worse. The tense battle continued for many more hours. Sometimes we had to take bad reports to apply pressure. By that time, our fortress was burning. At the same time, our Earth Camp allies were doing well and continued capturing the zone with minimal resistance from the Fire Camp. But on our front, the situation remained critical. The scale of the attack was stunning. The battle resembled an avalanche more than an ordinary fight. Every flag, every unit, everything held only thanks to the precise coordination of our leaders and the iron endurance of our players. More than 26 hours have passed since the gates opened, most of which were filled with intense, almost non-stop battles. I want to especially highlight the coordinated work of the leadership team. They never lost control of the situation for even a minute and did everything possible to hold the front. Equally important was the work of rally and garrison leaders who faced enormous pressure from the enemy. Remember, this is a battle of 4 kingdoms against 4, meaning multiple fronts, and all of this requires tremendous coordination. Thanks to their efforts, we were able to hold on as long as necessary to finally respond to this relentless attack from the water camp. It was the 28th hour after the opening of the 4th passage, and finally, the enemy numbers began to decline. The long-awaited downtime arrived, the moment we had been waiting for all this time. We immediately went on the attack. Now it was their turn to receive bad reports. The front gradually shifted in our favor, and for the first time in a long while, the map began to change. Water camp flags lit up one after another. The initiative passed to us. After 3 hours, the water camp completely stopped fighting, abandoning their attempts to win, and the map looked as follows. This was a very worthy attempt by the water camp to make a comeback, and it was truly very difficult for us to hold back their onslaught all this time, but we withstood it. So, let's summarize and look at the statistics. First, let's look at the rankings in the game itself, and then we'll move on to the scans. As usual, you can most often see fighters from the air and water camps in the top. In my opinion, fighters from both camps showed excellent results and put up a good fight. Now, let's look at the scans. As expected, the highest results are from the air and water camps. If you look at the kill points and healing points values, you can conclude that overall we traded at a good advantage for us. The situation with deaths is similar. Due to the fact that the fire camp showed minimal activity, their battles turned out quite meager. On one hand, this deprived the Earth camp of serious confrontations, but on the other hand, it brought them a confident victory on their front. Their overall numbers are almost half of ours, and water camps, however, if you look more carefully at the numbers, you can notice that Fire has noticeably better quality reports than Earth. This suggests that it's too early to write them off. They definitely have potential, and in future battles they may still surprise us. As for Kingdom statistics, we, 2267, confidently occupy first place in kill points. Behind us, with not the biggest gap, comes 3586 from the water camp, who showed excellent results, especially considering their kingdom's strength. Our allies from the air camp, 2730, occupy fourth place, but with minimal lag from third place, which is held by Kingdom 2776. Our other allies, 3135 and 2757, are also not far behind, showing a level comparable to the strongest kingdom of the Earth camp, 3526. Also striking is the very good trade ratio of 1368, who made small numbers but got good deals. 3319, who took third place in Pre-KvK, took last place among air and water. But it's important to understand, this is a young kingdom, and if you look at healing indicators, they're on par with the rest, and in some places even higher. Yes, their reports are probably not the best, but their perseverance and activity deserve respect. Next, let's look at player statistics. Yakya-chan and Beef are making simply insane results. They were active all 24 hours a day, 3.5 billion kill points just for Pass 4, and it takes some people years to do this. A bit lower is the best player of the water camp, Caramel, with a result of 1.7 billion kill points. Even lower is the best player of the fire camp with a Chinese nickname, 1.4 billion kill points. Sugar Tank and NSR from the water camp, Novocaine and Carr from the air camp got about 1 billion kill points, which is also a magnificent result. In total, about 40 players were able to cross the 500 million kill points mark, which is quite good. I want to separately look at my Kingdom 2267. I remind you that only 60 players play here, of which 25 were able to make more than 300 million kill points, which is simply excellent for Pass 4. Now it's time to talk about my personal results and how much it cost me. If you forgot, this is what my 5 marches look like. In total, I managed to make 710 million kill points. It cost me 4.8 billion food, 3.7 billion wood, 2.9 billion stone, 3.1 billion gold. I remind you that I had a 25% discount on healing due to the Crystal Academy and VIP level. In Speedups, it came out to 370 days. Trade ratio by kill points is 1.36, or 136%, as it used to be written in reports. As for the effectiveness of each march, the best turned out to be Qin Shi and Zhuge, and this march is truly insane. There's nothing to compare it with. Ho and Arthur performed slightly worse, but are also very good. Bai Qi and Liu Che, no questions, they're magnificent. But what really disappointed me was Nevsky and Joan. I expected more from them. I didn't expect anything from Scipio and Ragnar, but their statistics are also extremely poor. It seems that very time has come when old commanders are finally starting to give way to new ones. Their effectiveness drops literally in half, and now it's especially noticeable. That was a long story. Honestly, I enjoyed the battles on Pass 4, and I would like to say thank you to the water camp for this glorious battle. But this video doesn't end here. I hope you liked the video. Now let's talk about the insane Zenith of Power. This event caused simply huge excitement among the community, and no wonder. This is truly the best skin for Mixed Army. Moreover, this is the first Zenith with a guaranteed skin for 60 million power, and honestly, before the results, it seemed like a simple overprice. Our whale Nosk simply flooded the Alliance with golden chests. In my memory, there has never been such a high bar in Zenith, if we don't count Imperial quantities. 11 players scored more than 60 million power. This is simply insane. And perhaps this is the first Zenith where there was no intrigue left by the finale. Everything was decided a few hours before the end. I want to congratulate Kak, Nosk, Quincy, Rinner, and Steele on this magnificent skin. You are true whales to have been able to get it. And the last topic we'll discuss is the altar battle. It all started 1 hour before the altar opened, and it immediately started not very well for us. Because there was the same problem as before. The enemy is numerically greater than us. But if before we had 5 marches or more, now we only have 1, and it's harder to cope with this. The whole next hour we fought more or less evenly. The advantage was sometimes ours, sometimes the water camp's. But the first altar hold went to the water camp. Then the situation didn't change much. After some time, we recaptured the altar, but this didn't last long and the water camp took it back again. This continued until the very closing of the altar. The altar passed to us, then to the water camp. It was very exhausting and tense. Sometimes I tested the attack march function. In places, it really helped. You could be distracted from microcontrol for a second and catch your breath. Although sometimes this gave not the most pleasant reports. Overall, the function is interesting. In this video, I tried it even before the update, and now, with new settings, I think it has become even more effective. If we summarize the first battles for the altar, I would call them a draw. Yes, the water camp overall looked more confident, and probably the total altar hold time is slightly more for them, but you definitely can't call it their victory. We fought with dignity until the end. I was especially pleased with how many players from my kingdom entered the top. The guys really gave it their all and showed excellent numbers. Definitely good work. But our camp allies also worked excellently, and many are also found in the top. As for the Earth and Fire camp side, they again had an extremely meager battle with a complete and unconditional victory for the Earth camp. I'm also attaching the statistics of my marches. I switched between 3 marches, and in total, I managed to make 65 million kill points with a kill points trade ratio of 128%, which overall is not bad, but in places I had to take very bad deals, and I'm even surprised that the statistics are so good. Well, let's summarize Pass 4 and the altars. On our side of Pass 4, we achieved victory, but not without difficulties. The water camp gave us an excellent battle. On the other side, our ally the Earth camp won. At the altar between us and the water camp, it's a draw. On the other side, the Earth camp won. Overall, something like that. I personally am very satisfied with the past battles. It was a worthwhile spectacle. The only thing that's really a pity is the Earth camp, that they weren't lucky with battles, but I think it's not evening yet, and the Fire camp may turn out to be a dark horse. Let's not forget that 1368 is a very strong kingdom that in the last KvK made 68 billion kill points, and now hasn't shown at all what they're capable of. Well, that's where I'm ending. The video turned out long, but I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please like and subscribe to the channel. Next preparation for Pass 7 and Kingsland, where everything will be decided finally. Thanks for watching.